Guys, welcome to the only elevators part 6, and in part 5 we wrapped up our elevator system that we built on level blueprint, and now in part 6 we are going to recreate the same logic but in class blueprint so that we can reuse it on any level. So that is the thing we are going to do, and let's get started. All right. Now I'm going to my content browser and go to my game folder and elevator system. And this is the blueprint that I have created to demonstrate the difference between the level blueprint and class blueprint. So I'm going to just delete it, and I'll just, yeah, I'll just create a new one. So to create a class blueprint, what you should do is right click uh, in an empty place and go to blueprint class. So this is where we create any sort of class blueprints. So select this class blueprint and you get this pick parent class window. And most of developers or most of the beginners, especially most of the beginners with no programming knowledge, get gets confused, or they don't understand what is this parent class, and they get a bit of scared of what this parent class. So the thing is, think uh, when you are creating an Unreal Engine project, if you remember, as we created our project for elevator system, we had to choose uh, this third person template, right? So we had our options like blank one and first person one and vehicle and third person one. So there were many templates to choose, and we got our third person template so that we can get a third person character inside our project uh, for the default character. And we knew that if we choose our blank template, we have to create a character, or if we chose our first person template, we only have a character with no body, and it will be only a first person character with hands and like that. So there are many properties inside those different templates, right? It's the same story inside this parent class when we are creating a class blueprint, right? So basically, if you go to the all classes, you can see there is this option called all classes, and if you expand this, you can see there is a whole lot of uh, parent classes you can choose from, and you can just click on here, and you can see that the all items, the all parent classes, or all the classes for blueprints are derived from this object class, right? This object class is the basic or the blank class that you can get for a blueprint, right? It will be the blank one. And if you can expand this again, you can see there are a lot of other classes, and all of those classes are derived from this object class. It's like there's this blank project, and if you implement a third person character with a movement system, and you can define it as a third person template. It is already derived from an empty project, but it is now modified, right? But think if you have this first person template, now we are going to start with the blank one and just add a camera and two hands of a character and some message to the map. Now you have a first person template uh, that was started with empty project. And if you have this vehicle template, you put a car and create some logic to move that. Now you have this vehicle advanced template. Like that, we have all this actor, pawn, character, player controller, game mode base, actor component, scene component, all are derived from this object. Basically, uh, basically Unreal Engine has this C++, and you know that C Blueprint is made of C++ on top of that as a scripting language, and this is an object-oriented programming language, right? C++ is a object-oriented programming language, so that is why its uh, its root comes with an object. So this is the object. So this is the starting point. If you add some code, it will become an actor, and if you add some more code, if you it will become an pawn, and if you add some more code and logic, it can become to a character. Like that, it gradually increases with the options, and you can define different templates based on the features, right? So that is the basic thing. So what is an object? Object is an small blueprint container that only have data, right? That only have data. So if I select object here and click on select here, and you can see we have this new blueprint class called that is derived from object. And if you drag and drop this object, you can see that you can't drag and drop this into the world, right? You can't drag and drop this object blueprint we created into the level. That is because it doesn't have any transform properties, or it doesn't have any properties to be spawned in the level or placed in the level. So that is the main reason an object blueprint can't be placed on a level. So it doesn't have it on its code, right? That's just a simple thing. So it does have, if we double click and open it, you can see there's this blueprint graph. So you can create variables and you can create logic, but it doesn't have any transform properties. But we can modify it to have some transform properties so that we can drag and drop into the world. But why we do that? If we can get a template with transform properties, if we can have an object that have transform properties, or that can be placed in the world, or that can be spawned in the world, why should we use this and modify this code? We just have to get the one with transform properties, right? This is only a data blueprint. This only can contain data. So we just don't need this basic object class. So I'm going to delete it, and I'm just go to blueprint class. And if you can see, I'm going to collapse these all classes. If you can see, there is this first blueprint class template that is called as actor. And if you can read this description, an actor is an object, right? An actor is an object, so it is an object. So what is an object? This is the object. Object is the basic blueprint class that can be created or an empty blueprint class, right? So actor is an empty class, but that can be placed or spawned in the world. That literally means it has these transform properties: location, rotation, and scale, right? It has these transform properties. That is why an actor can be placed in the world, right? And you can go through the other templates as well. So there is the spawn, character, player controller, game mode base. And if you consider a pawn is an actor. Okay, a pawn is an actor. That means actor comes with an transform properties. So the pawn automatically gets transform properties with it. And it has what? That can be processed and receive input from a controller. It can receive inputs from a controller. So what is a controller? Controller is a keyboard, a mouse, a gamepad, a steering wheel, a joystick, any kind of device that can get inputs to our computer or our game engine. It is considered as a controller. So an actor can't get any inputs, but pawn can get inputs from a controller, and also that can be possessed. That can be possessed mean it can be controlled. It can be controlled by the player since it have this inputs. It has this receive input from a controller feature, right? It can receive inputs, so then it can be controlled. But an actor, it is just an object with data, so it can be placed or spawned, but it doesn't have any inputs with it, right? Because it doesn't have any inputs from a controller. And there's this character. Character is a type of pawn, okay? So character is a pawn. Pawn is an actor. Actor is an object. Basically, uh, that means character has data because it's an object, and it has this transform properties because it is also an actor. And character is a type of pawn, so it can be possessed. But what's new? That includes the ability to walk around. It has this addition to the pawn, which includes the ability to walk around. You can say that you can later see that the character blueprint has this component called movement component that can be moved, right? It has the implemented code uh, to move that, right? So that is the thing. So others are a bit different, but you have to know that this is not a scary thing. It's just a simple template to choose from when we are creating a class blueprint. And you just have to know that there's this object thing before the actor. Object has this data, and it's only a container for data. It can have this event graph, and it can have this variable functions and stuff, but it can't be placed on the world. But it can if we add some code to that. If we add some blueprints, it can be placed in the world. But why should we do that if we have this actor? Yeah. We have this actor provided with Unreal Engine developers, and with Unreal Engine, and by Unreal Engine developers. So if we have this actor that is derived from an object and that can be placed and placed or spawned in the world, we can basically use this, right? And what if I need something that can be processed or received input from a controller? you just have to go for the pawn, or you can just modify the actor to have this input from a controller as well, right? So that's easy. So any class that you can get you can get it modified to another state. But if you have a template made for you to use, that template made for you to use, why should you uh, add code to a basic class? So that is the main idea. So I'm going to select this actor because basically we are choosing because pawn is a controllable character, controllable item. So I don't need to be I don't I need to control, because I will have this q and e key events to control this blueprint. But it should not be possessed, right? It should not be possessed means possessed means controlling, but it is more likely to be a character inside the game, or an AI character, or AI animal. So therefore, an elevator can't be considered as a animal or character that is being controlled by the player. So I'm going for the actor. So that is why we are choosing an actor. So it's a static mesh with some controllable properties. So we will need some inputs, but we can just uh, enable a small node for that, but we don't need any other things from the pawn. So that is why we are going to get our actor. And it is really beneficial to not having these input controller default for the actor, because if we don't need to control this elevator every time. We just have to interact the elevator, and it should have this input receive from a controller feature for that moment, and then you should disable it. So we have to enable and disable these inputs for an actor manually when we need it, but we don't need to use pawn just for that, right? So that is why we are going to select this actor. So basically I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to give it a prefix capital BP. That means that is a blueprint. And you can say elevator, right? You can say, yeah, you can rename it as elevator. So this is the blueprint actor for elevator. If you double click and open it up, you can see if you open any class blueprint, you can go to this right top corner. You can see the parent class is actor. Now we know that BP elevator is derived from an actor, and now we know what are the properties. So it can be placed inside level. So if you drag and drop it now, you can see that now it can be placed on the level, right? So it's that simple. And now the thing is, uh, compared to level blueprints, we can have a viewport, and we can have a construction script, and as